Hey guys, welcome back to The Composed Artist. I'm your host, Stephanie Gaffney. I'm an artist and a live wedding painter in New Orleans, Louisiana. Most of the people that listen to this show, to this podcast, are artists themselves. If they're like me, if you're an artist who has tried everything, tried painting originals and selling them myself, selling them through galleries, printing, making art prints at home, doing sculptures and illustrations, and tried different avenues to make an income as a painter and really struggled to take off in those areas, maybe you're looking for something a little bit more sustainable, like I was. I've been a live wedding painter for over 10 years. And when I first started, the idea was to provide a service for people using my skills as a painter. Okay. I had heard about live wedding painting, and a friend of mine actually asked me to paint at her wedding. And I was like, no, like straight out the gate. That sounds very scary to be watched. Usually, when people came over to my apartment to watch me paint, within 5 minutes, I would give it up and we would just end up hanging out. Like being observed, being watched while I paint took some practice, but I gave it a shot. I went out on a limb and trusted myself enough to take the job and to promise that I'll do something, and have not turned back since. It was the most fun ever, and I learned a lot of lessons over the years. And through that experience and through the desire to help other artists avoid making so many mistakes, and being hurt again and again, and also just providing information that I could not find anywhere online, I created my online course, The Wedding Painter's Blueprint. It's the first course of its kind, and it's like a collegiate level course. Okay, it's a 12-week course. I'll talk more about it, but today's guest, getting around to the introduction here. Today's guest, Hannah Grace, is an artist in Nebraska, and she is actually expecting her second child. And so she's also a mother and balancing this career as a live wedding painter and being a mom and what the future will hold. Because as a live wedding painter and a wedding vendor, you're booking events and gigs like in the future. And so today we talk a little bit about what it's like to be a mom and working as a live wedding painter. But more importantly, Hannah shares her experience going through the Wedding Painter's Blueprint, starting from scratch, being an artist who painted at her friend's wedding for free, realizing how much she didn't know and needed help with regarding the job, and then getting involved with the Wedding Painter's Blueprint, going through the course, and then what her very sustainable business looks like today. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Hannah Grace. Hannah, thank you so much for coming hang out with me this morning and for giving
Thank
me some of your
you.
time, because your time is very precious right now. Share with everybody why your time is so precious.
Hello everyone. My name's Hannah. I'm 35 weeks pregnant, nearly almost 35 weeks pregnant. I got a baby due on March 6th coming up here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're uncomfortable, but we're still staying busy, and I have a toddler as well. So we're on our feet all the time, and yeah.
I'm so excited to talk with you today, because not only are we going to talk about your journey as a live wedding painter and the business that you've built so far, but also I kind of want to talk about like what life is like currently and what you're planning on happening. Because I have four, and I talk, it's not necessarily a topic that everybody cares about, because not everybody is kind of on this journey as like growing their family, being a mom and all that. But I guarantee you, I know a lot of young women who are thinking about how this
Mhm.
career, like going down this path, building this business and like booking weddings 1 year, 2 years in advance. And then also like dating somebody and entertaining, like getting married and starting a family, like that can be really scary. And so that's what I'm excited to talk about as well, as your journey as a live wedding painter. So
Yeah.
share with everybody, if you wouldn't mind, take us down memory lane and tell us about how your career, your experience began as an artist, and the idea of starting a business, and then how you kind of got into live wedding painting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking me. So I'll just take you way back to when I was like really little. Like I have always wanted to be a full-time artist. Like artist was the dream. So much of a dream that it felt like like a pipe dream, like as if I were to say, I'm going to be an astronaut one day. Like it just felt like so unattainable, like something not logical or something I should actually pursue because, starting artists and how do you even get going? What does that look like and everything? So, that's always been like tapping at my door. But I'm a very type A person, very like to have things kind of in order and planned out for my life. And that just
Mm.
didn't seem like that was a smart route to go. So, um, in high school, I had an amazing art teacher. Shout out to Miss Connor. She really saw something in me, and she would like hype me up so much and say, "You're a better artist than I am right now, and I have all this experience." And she really saw something in me. So I was like, "Wow, you're doing so much in my life as an artist. Maybe I could be an art teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can instill this." Drive this inspiration into younger kids like when I become a teacher. So then I kind of like dove into that because that felt realistic. That felt safe, and it felt good, right? Like I love talking to people, which is great for live wedding painting. But so I started pursuing that, and I kind of went all in on that, and I went to college and I got my bachelor's degree in K through 12 art education. I was really excited about it, loved it. And then I taught for 2 years. Me and my husband, I met my husband in college, and he's a math teacher, so we are very opposites,
Wow.
but we attract. I
Mm-hmm.
guess. So we actually got a job together at the same Lutheran high school in Colorado, which was such a blessing, to be able to leave Nebraska and kind of everything that I know, and go with my new husband and work alongside him and do um, become an art teacher. Um, I loved it. I loved chatting with students, and I do think I had the opportunity to touch a lot of lives. But in 2023, at the end of 2023, we found out that we were pregnant with our daughter, Jane. And I just knew we had this conversation when we were dating that one of us would be stay at home,
Mm.
and with me having the potential to maybe bring in some income with art, it felt like it would be a better fit for me to be stay at home. So we ended up moving back to Nebraska in 2024 when I was pregnant with Jane. Um, and then from then on, I was like, hey, she's due at the end of July. Actually came in August, but I was like, I'm not going to go back to teaching, and we're going to see what happens. So, in the midst of moving from Colorado to Nebraska and kind of committing to be a stay at home mom, I was really thinking of like, okay, I need an art outlet. Like, I
Mm.
need to continue to create. Like, if you're an artist, you just know, like, you can't, that's not just something that you can just like shove away and
Yeah.
not acknowledge. You gotta have that outlet somewhere. And so I was like, how can I then sell the work that I'm creating? So I just went down this rabbit hole of like researching anything and everything that might fit into my lifestyle as a mom, um, but also be able to make a somewhat of a living, so that we didn't just have to live off of a teacher salary because that's a little
Yeah.
rough. And then I stumbled upon someone on Instagram who was doing, I don't know who it was, I wish I would know, but she's a live wedding painter, and I had never heard of it before. I was like, what in the heck is this? This is amazing. I love weddings. I love dressing up. I love cake. And I love talking to people and painting. These are like all my favorite things together. So then it was like having a really serious conversation with my husband Ethan and myself, and saying, is this something that I might be able to do? Like, is this
Mm.
even a thing? And so I'm the type of person who I'm a very all in kind of gal.
Yeah.
Once I got that idea, it was like, oh no, like I really can't stop thinking about it, and it's knocking at my door, and I think that I want to give this a go. So really, it was just consuming me when I was not taking care of Jane when she was napping. I was researching more about live painting and all the things. And then your website, beautiful, was one of the first websites to pop up. Saw you had a podcast and I was like, oh my heavens, like I have all the time to listen to podcasts these days. So then I like one day was just like for hours, just like listening to your podcast, and then heard that you were offering this class. And again, just getting like deeper and deeper sucked into the magic of live wedding painting and what it could be. And I had ironically had a friend getting married right at the last week of December of 2024. And she's a very good friend of mine from high school. And I said, is this something that like maybe I could just try out and do for you for free?
Uh-huh.
And she was super excited about it. And so I did it. It was something. I loved it. I loved every aspect of it. The guests were wonderful and excited. I look at the painting now and I'm like, don't show that to anybody. And my setup was like very not professional and I didn't know what to bring and things like that. But I was just so set on fire from just one gig. And so I was like, this is it. It was 3 hours away and I just drove home and I remember like talking to God and just being like, Lord, I really want this. If this is a way where you can use me so that I can use the talents that you've given me to serve others, like let it be, because I loved that. And
hey, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to hop on and remind you guys that doors will be opening any day now for the Wedding Painter's Blueprint. Please mark your calendars if you're an artist who's interested in taking the Wedding Painter's Blueprint and kickstarting your career as a live wedding painter. Mark your calendars for February 3rd when doors open. Doors will close on February 12th. So there's a very short enrollment window. We open with a live launch every single year with a 10-day enrollment period. So mark your calendar so you don't miss the deadline, and then click the link in the show notes to join the wait list so that you'll get every single email, all the information necessary to set you up for success within the Wedding Painter's Blueprint. If you have any questions, email us at support@stephaniegaffney.com. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Then I really dove into what you were talking about your wedding painter's blueprint, and I kind of had to convince my husband at first, because it was like, well, where are we getting the money to sign up for this? And I was like, I don't know, but I don't care because I need to do it. And so I did. I took the leap of faith and took your class, and it was a scary leap of faith, because I knew that if it didn't work out for me, I'd be pretty crushed, because I'm just an all-in type of person. And I had tried different outlets with my artwork before. Being a ceramicist, I did pottery for a long time. I tried to sell things here and there at different shows. So it was pretty scary for me to kind of jump in all in like this. But man, am I glad that I did, because your class just completely catapulted me into the world of live wedding painting. And and so the rest is history. I've been doing it for one year now, and God has been saying yes to this vocation, and I still get to be home with my daughter, and it lines up great with the teacher's schedule. So yeah.
That's awesome. Wonderful. That's an incredible story. I'm glad that you found somebody who is the yin to your yang, so that, you can balance kind of, because I have one too. I have a more analytical minded spouse, and and so that's always good to hear. I think that's great. Good support system. So you said a year, which doesn't feel like very long, because a lot of artists try, to make their artwork, to make ends meet, selling their work, working as an artist for years before it like takes off. And then a lot of wedding painters, like, I've been doing this for over 10 years now. This is my 11th year technically. And it took a long time to get some traction and momentum. And you say that in a year you've built a business and you've got bookings, and you said the rest is history. What does your business look like? give us an idea, a comparison. What did it look like when you first got started after you did your friend's wedding and you invested in the course? Did you have anything booked? What was your schedule looking like? And then take us to today, what your business looks like today.
Yeah. When I think about it, it's really just so humbling and really crazy because when I signed up for your class, I had done one free wedding that was a friend's, and I didn't have any booked. And we had to take a loan out from ourselves. And Ethan, my husband, was like, just make sure we can pay this back, and it's just a lot of scary things. But then another friend of mine got engaged, and she had like a quick turnaround to a wedding. So then I did one in February, and that I was more prepared because I saw a lot of the things of like, oh man, I needed this, and I want to come off more professional in this way. And so I bought a new easel and all these things. And then I was like, I need to document it better as well. So having that wedding in February then really helped kind of have better, this is pregnancy brain right now. Better.
I've been there many times.
Like what?
Just like prepare better, right? Like just you've been there before. Yes. You remember what it was like to feel like, oh crap, forgot this thing, or I really need a better light or a light. Like for me, I didn't bring a light in my first wedding, and I had to use one of the photographer's spotlights. Like it, you experience it and you're like, okay, making a list for the next time.
Yes. Right. And so I felt more confident in that wedding too. It was like, it's a venue I work with regularly now, Seven Willows. And so it was a beautiful venue as well. So it set me up. I always say a beautiful space calls for a beautiful painting. So it was just really, really, nice. And then also I was working hard in the studio at home, creating, practicing like how quick I could paint, and doing these mini brides of the week is what I called them, so that people could kind of see my style. And because I was calling myself a live wedding painter, but nobody was paying me to make their weddings yet.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a portfolio. So I was doing these brides of the week so that people could see what my style is, and to kind of convince people on my social media that, this is what I do. And if you follow me, you might be the bride I paint, and things like that. And that actually kind of built on itself. And then just giving me more practice as well. So then more people started hearing about me slowly. And I remember having conversations with you like, Nebraska, we're a little slow to a lot of things. And so a lot of people were like, I've never heard of this before. And I was like, I didn't even hear about it before either. Well, a couple months ago. Don't tell anyone. So it was a lot. It felt like a lot of like convincing people that yes, no, this is a thing, and this is a thing that you need. And so then I just started slowly booking more weddings, and of course at a very low rate, because I wanted to make sure I was balancing like my actual experience and what I knew.
Sure.
But then just continued to grow and evaluate where my business was and raise prices and everything. So in 2025, I ended up doing 12 weddings total, which is so crazy to me still.
That's one a month, man. That's a lot.
I know. I can't.
That's awesome.
I can't believe that. Yeah. So, and then, I did up my website, and I think people really started to think like, oh no, she really is doing this. And word of mouth was a wonderful thing as well. And so now for 2026, as we look at this calendar year, with my baby due in March, I am taking off about, February, March, April, and half of May. So it's about like a 9-month time period, and I already have 15 booked. And a few booked for 2027. So I just don't know how it's happening, but it is. Yeah. And I'm just like so blessed and giddy, and I truly do love this life so much that I get to be a mother to my children and be so present in their life, but then completely get my cup refilled by this job of mine. And then also support my family financially as well. There's a lot more. I can take a deep breath a little bit more, so.
Yeah. I was wondering if Ethan had come around to the idea and felt like the investment was worth it?
Oh yeah. No, he thinks you're so cool. When you Yes.
That's so
He
great.
listens. I have your podcast playing sometimes, and he listens in on it. And he's like so math brain, but he's like, oh my gosh, she has a 100 percentile baby. That's crazy. Like, like he's invested in everything as well. And he's so he's my biggest supporter.
Mm.
Couldn't have done this without him and having my back. Like he knows how much um art and painting and having this outlet means to me.
Yeah.
So him and his father-in-law actually like made this studio. We live in a very small house, but he took down some barn doors and made this space so that I could have my own
Yeah.
spot to create. And he gets so excited when I get bookings, and he's always just like, yeah, if you need to book it or if you feel like you want to take it, I got Jane, like we'll figure something out. Like he's just so supportive. And so yeah, he's been wonderful. And he's like, that class was the best thing that's ever happened to you besides me.
Besides me. I love it. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy to hear that you have support in so many corners. You have support at home. And then you also, in turn, support your family. You support him and his career path. And then you're a wonderful mother. Like you said, you're able to stay at home and spend time with your now kids coming up with your second. I'm so excited for you to experience what it's like to have two children. I think having four is surreal. Okay. But having like looking at these two little children and their personalities as they grow, this is an art podcast, but the mother stuff, I
Yeah,
can't get
I know.
enough. Like it's so important. So I'm very excited for you.
Thank
And
you.
15 weddings booked it's January, y'all. It's January, and she's got maternity leave planned, which is wise. I'm so proud of you. I hope you do nothing but hold that baby for the next 3 months, 4
Yeah.
months. But you've got 15 weddings booked. So like you're set up, and it's the beginning of the year. And so if you wanted to squeeze in a few more, or if you wanted to accept some commissions, like you've done the work. And this is what's so important. And I'm so glad you brought it up. What you did with the Bride of the Week, it was like a contest. It really attracted submissions, and it attracted new followers, and you included your followers in your journey. You got your practice work in, like you knew it was important to practice and to create content. And that's something that I suggest to any artist who's trying to decide if this is for them, or maybe they've been painting houses or wildlife or landscapes or whatever, doing something else as an artist, and they have nothing to show in their portfolio that shows that they can do the job, that they're trustworthy as a portrait artist and a live wedding painter, doing these little paintings in the studio, making it fun, making it something that you can include your followers in on, or you can sell also, doing paintings. Like I mentioned in the last episode, I believe that part of the course, we include a weekly painting challenge. And one of the weeks I uploaded a reference photo of a chandelier. And, maybe you don't sell the painting of the chandelier, but it's excellent practice, and it shows people what you're able to do. Like that one very random but really important element of what we get to paint a lot. Being able to practice that and then create content, market it, that kind of thing. That was so wise. I'm so proud of you for doing that. And those efforts have built the momentum of what your business looks like today. It's built the trust with your audience. You've been able to show people who you are, what you create, why you love what you do, why you do what you do. It's so great. You've done everything the right way. I'm very proud of you. That's awesome.
That means a lot coming from you.
So you
Thanks for
went
saying
from charging $0, free
that.
50 for your first weddings, which was wise. A lot of people do that. A lot of people will be asked to do one by a friend, and it's like, well, I have no idea what you expect, but it would be fun, a fun exercise. Maybe it'll help me decide if I even like doing this, and I'll make something, right? Like you said, I made something. It's just great practice. And so you start by charging nothing for the practice and the chance to try, right? And now you've got 15 weddings in the book and on the books, and you've got some booked for 2027 as well. What, if you want to share what you charge now and what your like packages look like today, you're welcome to. But more importantly, I want to hear how that the psychology of pricing your work has evolved from day one, charging nothing, to confidently pricing out for 2027 now?
Yeah. So transparently, when I was booking, when it wasn't friends and I was getting those like first couple, um, like the first 2 to 3 weddings, I think I was charging 500, and then shortly after that went up to 900. And
Mm-hmm.
I just remember feeling like 900, because I'm a very cheap gal. So I'm just like, 900 is for one person is
Mm.
crazy. And I just remember just being like, is my stuff worth it? Like, is my time that I'm investing, like, am I worth what I'm charging people? Because I never want my clients to feel underwhelmed when they receive
Yeah.
work. And I feel like some of that goes hand in hand with the price tag. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
they see what you've produced, and then they're like, well, I was charged this. So there was definitely a lot at the beginning of just like, am I charging right? Like, am I way underselling myself? Do I need to charge more? And just a lot of questions and talking. I would ask you that, especially because in Nebraska, it's just not much of a thing. And so again, it felt like I was convincing people a lot, and then talking with my husband about, do I feel like this is right as well. You had something in your class though that kind of helped me a lot. You break down like, how many weddings do you want to do, and what do you want to make by the end of the year? Like, what would be awesome to make? And then doing the, I don't know, dividing and subtracting and all that stuff that my husband did for me because he's a math guy.
Nice.
um and then realistically saying, okay, like, then this is maybe what you should consider charging. Like, that felt a little bit more concrete, and kind of wrapped my brain a lot around it a little bit more, rather than just like picking something out of the air is kind of what it felt like. But now with one on the way, and just loving being home with Jane, it time is really important to me. So, like, for example, for the fall months, September and October, I am specifically leaving one weekend open for family time. Like, that is, even though I could book there and I could do a local wedding, it's not negotiable. Like, I have to have a weekend with
Yeah.
my family. And so when now I am booking more, um, my price tag kind of feels, it has more weight to it. I feel more mature in the way that I'm pricing my services, because it's not just like, give me jobs, like, so I can convince people. it's
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I do this now. I am a professional. I'm confident in my ability and what I can give to my clients, and but what am I taking from my family? And that is my time. So it has to be worth my time. The jobs that I travel 3 hours for, is that worth that? And considering that, and then just like, okay, if I'm going to be gone for one full day, what is that time worth? If
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense.
Oh, yeah. Like within the span of a year, it sounds like you learned a lesson that it took me years to learn. Is the value of your time. And you didn't say, I'm so important and famous, and so my time is worth blah blah blah. You didn't say that. You were very specific in saying that originally, the idea of charging someone $900 made you feel ugh, because is my time worth that? Is my work worth that amount? Having a lot of conversations with your husband, trying to kind of make it make sense, like apply the value, make to your paintings. And then within a year, now you're like, I'm choosing to leave a weekend open in the fall in peak season. I could book it. Like, you feel confident with the data that you've gained in the past year, your followers, the inquiries that are coming in, your ability to book, your confidence with your rates. You could book a local wedding. That confidence is what I want all of my students to achieve, and you were able to achieve that in a year. That's so I've got goosebumps. That's so exciting. And so you're choosing non-negotiable, like you said. You're choosing to keep a weekend free for your family, and being able to go from, doubting your prices to confidently being able to mark a weekend off, knowing that you're earning enough, you can book enough to spend time with your family. Like that value, the understanding and the security of the value of your work and your time is priceless,
Mm-hmm.
really. So what you mentioned transparency. What do your prices look like today? And are you thinking about maybe 2027 and what your life may look like then, and the
Yeah.
value of your work then?
Yeah. I do, because I have very type A. So I have a little document of where, like, how many commissions I did in 2025, how many weddings I did, what the dollar amount that I made, and then what and then it goes to 2026 and it's the same thing, and then it's like what I'm hoping to make, my goal to make, for the year, and then the same thing for 2027. So I have three packages now, and I know some people offer like more packages than three, but I just feel like it's easy for my brain. It's small, middle, large.
Mm-hmm.
So my small list is an 18 by 24. I was doing a 16 by 20, but you actually inspired me and encouraged me to drop that size, because again, my biggest thing is that I don't want my clients to feel underwhelmed when they come home, and it just
Mm-hmm.
felt a little too small, and I know that I'm a fast worker. So I do an 18 by 24, and that's at 1600, with the goal of raising that by mid-year,
Yeah.
because I do think that I'm booking like at a steady enough rate that I'm confident enough to raise that, but I don't want to raise it until my baby's here, just because it's like I just want to see what the world looks like
Yeah.
with having two kids. So and then my largest size is shoot, my middle is 22 by 28. Can't think of my largest size right now, but then that's at 2500. And I have had multiple people book that, and that to me is bonkers. Like, I don't know, that's just a lot of money to me, and it's like it's such a blessing to our family, like to get to serve someone. And I love working big just like you. So um to have someone like book a big painting where it's like really fun for me, but then it blesses my family like tenfold, is just so really, really exciting. And the fact that I feel confident that in the future I can continue to raise that, and I don't feel
Mm.
like I'm good for a while, is really, really exciting. So
Oh my gosh. That's so exciting. I'm not type A at all. I don't ever claim to be, very much type B or C. I'm the opposite, but I am data driven. Like I love to look back at whenever I'm doubting, like my emotions are like, "Ugh," making me feel uncomfortable about a decision. I like to have the data based on, last year's bookings, what people feedback, like actual words that people say. I make notes of that. If there's objections to my prices, or even the people that choose to book me happily and don't question the prices, what they are saying about the decision making, the factors that encourage their decision making. I like to look at all of that and then make decisions for any changes in the future. So that gives us hard evidence of what the people are asking for and what they're wanting, and it gives us confidence to make changes in the future. So that's very wise. What advice might you have for an artist who was in your shoes last year or 2 years ago? Maybe they've painted a wedding before. Maybe they're thinking about giving it a try. Based on what you've learned, this will be an opportunity for you to share what you know. What would you advise artists to think about or to implement in their businesses to see if live painting is right for them, or even to like get started in that path?
mhm. I think for me personally, what was beneficial was just seeing, do I have what it takes? Like having an honest conversation with yourself first and foremost,
Mm.
and really do your research. Look on all, there's so many different beautiful websites of live wedding painters across the US, across the world. And doing the research to see, is this something like, do I want to, can I paint in front of people first? Like, that's a lot of pressure. Can I talk and paint with like people around? Am I okay with maybe like having to be in some uncomfortable situations and paint, like go out and plein air paint? Because I did that as well for some practice, because I truthfully, I hadn't done much of like going outside and painting before me, because it's a lot different than looking at a picture and painting. You're having to, you really use different parts of your brain with perspective and depth and everything, and figure out your composition, because it's not on your phone. It's not, here is the composition. You have to select it and you have to pull it into the canvas. So go out and plein air paint. See if you like that. Do you like being hot and sweaty sometimes and the bugs are getting at you, or it's really windy and your paint is drying, or you're cold, but your fingers are frigid, but you gotta just suck it up. Like, is, because sometimes that's how it's gonna be. It's not always gonna be sunny and 75. So, just having an honest conversation with yourself of like, is this something that like I'm game for? And it actually like gives me an edge and excitement. And if the answer is yes, like I love just going all in. So my next advice and like the next step of that would be like, then research the wedding painter's blueprint, and look at just how like your class is just so robust, because if you want to go all in, there's nothing better to do than to take your class, because you really go through all the different things, like fundamentally making yourself a better painter, and viewing things in a different light. But then also, like, I don't know anything about contracts, and that was so helpful for me. I mean, I didn't consider any of that. So just like in every aspect of this way of trying to go from point A to point B, the wedding painter's blueprint just really gives you helpful advice. And then you don't feel alone either, because you have so many people who are navigating this new journey by yourself. Because I think where a lot of people can get stuck, because I remember I was writing down in a journal, like, I am terrified. Like, I want to do this so badly, and my whole heart is in it. But I don't know if I can convince people that like I have what it takes. I don't know anyone who does this. Like, I feel like I'm speaking gibberish sometimes when I'm chatting about what the job is. But then you're opened up to this world in the wedding painter's blueprint of the Facebook group, and you get to be in small groups, and we still meet once a month, and you just get to do this life with them, and you don't feel, you feel less of the, can I do this? Because we're all doing it together. And that, so to just jump right back, like, have an honest conversation with yourself, really think, is this something that like makes me jazzed and pumped? And if the answer is yes, like, take the leap of faith, take out a loan, and take the wedding painter's blueprint, because truly there's nothing that's going to set you up for better success. I mean, you can do all the research on your own and everything, but it will take you double the time, because you just are so generous in all the things that you have given us in the class. And then it's like you get lifetime access. What? Like, I'm going to have a newborn, but I can still participate. That's crazy. That's so generous. So,
yeah, you could sit there from the couch and, a contact nap and watch all of the live calls. You can participate if you want. You could participate in critiques and offer feedback on new students' work. I look forward to seeing you again in the calls if you're able to join. If not, soak up the snuggles. I mean, I completely understand.
Make it happen.
And you can watch the replays. Oh my gosh. And then the small group, I love to hear that y'all are still meeting regularly. That's awesome. There's this life of being a live wedding painter, aspects of it that are, it's so niche. My husband is a lawyer. Your husband's a mathematician and a professor. And they, coming home and talking about what you were able to build, what you were able to to create, they may not get it. They may not, the feedback I get is like, okay, so what do you want me to do about it? I'm like, no, I just want you to listen. Having a group of people there whenever you're like, I did this thing and I want to show it off, or I was creating this painting and the weather. Let me talk about the weather. It was unpredictable. It changed. It was volatile, and I wasn't able to get anything done except look what I was able to get done in that amount of time, and asking for feedback, asking for advice on specific matters like, wedding guests who have no boundaries and are inappropriate. Like, that's a real life experience that we're all going to have. So being able to have those conversations with each other, it's so great to have companions. It's so great to be included in a community where people get it. They get it. And then also, if they haven't had that experience before, being able to prepare for it and know how to respond or know how to handle clients who are completely displeased, and you still want to be a professional. And I mean, there's so much to learn from other people and shared experiences. So I'm glad you mentioned the community. Hannah, I know that you're about to take a break, and I really hope that you're able to take a break. I have a hard time taking a break sometimes. And, I was on maternity leave, and on a whim, I accepted a whole bunch of little tiny child portraits because I really wanted to paint all these little child
That's
portraits,
awesome.
even though I was supposed to be on a break. But you're type A, so I have a feeling you'll be able to stick to your guns. But where
We'll
can
see.
people
We'll see.
follow you whenever you are able to post just for fun, post flashbacks, post things that you've done in the past? And then also whenever you get back to work, where can they follow you, follow your work?
Yeah. So my website is hannahgrace.art. There's no .com or anything. It's .art. So hannahgrace.art is my website. And then on Instagram is primarily where I live. And that's kind of, I always tell people when I'm at like bridal shows, it's where you can get like my most authentic self, because I do like posting about my life and what I'm up to and being a mom and everything. It's really important to me that my brides not only see like that I'm a businesswoman, but that first and foremost, I'm a mother, and that is my biggest calling in my life. So I love kind of posting about what's going on in my life in that way as well. And so my Instagram is hannahgrace.art_. So
There you go. There's something really, I think, important and um what's the word I'm looking for? There's something really sweet about knowing, really important about knowing that the artist that you choose to hire wants to be at your wedding. They're looking forward to the opportunity to paint for you. It's not just another job. They're not, you're not just a paycheck. Like, if you're listening and you're not a painter, you're not an artist, and you're planning a wedding, or you have, had your wedding in the past, or you're just a normal person and you're listening, it's so important that the people that you choose to support, the artists, if you're planning a wedding, your wedding vendors, it's important to choose the vendors that like you fall in love with. Yes, you should love their work. Of course, you should know that you're going to get something that exceeds your expectations for your painting, your photos, your cake, all of that. But being able to get to know your vendors, get to know the artists that you purchase and support, buy their art from, the connections that we're able to form, especially through social media, it's invaluable. It's so exciting. So that's awesome. I'm glad you're sharing like a well-rounded look at who you are as a person and as an artist. And I bet that's very inviting, and it makes it easy. You don't even have to sell. You talked a lot about today in the episode about having to convince people to hire you, convince them that they need a live wedding painter. And that idea of having to sell your services, if you are able to connect with somebody on Instagram and they fill out an inquiry form on your website, and you ask, how did you hear about me? And they say, we've been following you on Instagram for the past 6 months and we're in love with you. Like that makes
that's
it
the
all
best
worthwhile.
feeling.
Isn't it?
That's the best feeling. I was actually at a bridal show this past week. It was like a wine tasting thing, and a bride came up to me and she was like, oh my gosh, you're here. And I was like, what? Hello, hi. And she was like, I have had your website living in its own tab on my
Oh,
computer for like
stop.
months trying to fit you into our budget. And she's like, I'm almost there, so I need you to sell it to my fiance. And I was like, really? Like, you
Wow.
had my website on your computer? That's so, that was crazy. So the fact that she was able to connect with me in whatever way, either through Instagram or what I have to say on my website, was just like, because sometimes inquiries are just like, oh, it can feel like we're just filling out a form, just kind
Mm-hmm.
of seeing, but to have someone in real life like say, you're here, and I'm just like, hello, who are you?
Within a
You know
year,
me.
within a year, you've reached celebrity status. How does it
Oh, that's
feel?
not true. That's not true.
To this person, you did. Isn't that
Oh yeah.
incredible?
Yeah,
What a
that's yeah.
gift. What a gift. Stay humble, girl, but what a gift. Hannah, okay, enjoy the rest of your day. You are awesome. And I look forward
Thank
to
you.
maybe seeing you every now and then inside the course this
Yes,
year. But
definitely.
enjoy your last few weeks expecting that baby. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Snuggle up with your toddler. Enjoy it. It's going to be so
It's
fun.
gonna be crazy. Yeah. Thank you so
Oh,
much for having me. It's been a joy.
of course. Yeah, come back anytime. Let's talk. In fact, I'm going to put it out there now. In a couple of months, when you're like coming out of maternity leave and you're like kind of coming out of the fog, let's do this again. And let's talk
Let's do
about
it.
life with two and then
Yes.
weddings upcoming. Let's do it.
I would love it. Thank you. Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye, girl.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in and joining us on this journey of artistic exploration, entrepreneurial growth, and personal development. Remember, you have the power to create a life that is both fulfilled and balanced. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe to The Composed Artist on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to leave us a review. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more creatives like you. Until next time, keep creating, keep dreaming, and keep pursuing that composed life. You got this.